From invincible legions to looted palaces, the Roman Empire seemed eternal. But empires don't crumble in silence, they erupt in chaos and collapse in echoes. Plague, betrayal, corruption, and invasions, Rome was its own worst enemy. This is the gripping story of how history's mightiest empire unraveled. Follow us through lost battlefields, crumbling cities, and bloody coups. Welcome to Infoverse Compass, where ruins reveal untold truths. Rome once thrived in a golden age called Pax Romana, 200 years of relative peace. But under the surface, cracks were forming in its economy, army, and leadership. Heavy taxes crushed peasants while emperors spent lavishly on games and monuments. The end of peace marked the beginning of slow, irreversible decline. In the 3rd century, a devastating plague, likely smallpox, swept across the empire. It killed millions, weakened the military, and destabilized the economy. As corpses piled up, society's faith in Roman gods began to erode. This biological disaster hit Rome when it could least afford vulnerability. For 50 years, Rome tore itself apart with civil wars and economic collapse. Over 20 emperors rose and fell in rapid succession, most murdered or overthrown. Borders crumbled as rival generals ruled their own fiefdoms. Rome was no longer a united empire, it was a fractured war zone. Rome's currency lost its value as emperors minted endless coins. Hyperinflation made basic goods unaffordable, causing widespread famine. Trade routes collapsed and local economies fractured. The empire was rich in gold, but bankrupt in power. The Visigoths, seeking refuge, were welcomed into Roman lands. But mistreatment sparked revolt, leading to all-out war. At Adrianople, 2/3 of the Roman army perished, including Emperor Valens. Rome had underestimated the storm it had invited in. One of Rome's worst defeats came not from Persians, but refugees. Outnumbered and unprepared, Roman forces were surrounded and crushed. Emperor Valens died on the field, his body never found. The illusion of Roman military invincibility shattered that day. The Byzantines sought to reclaim lost western provinces. Belisarius led a swift and brutal campaign against the Vandals. Though victorious, the war drained Eastern Roman coffers and strength. Rome's legacy came at a deadly cost. Germanic tribes pressed into the empire's northern borders. Rome's legions struggled under plagues and persistent invasions. Marcus Aurelius fought relentlessly, but the peace was only temporary. These wars foreshadowed the barbarian pressures that would one day break Rome. Besieged by invasions, bankrupt from within, and fractured by ambition, the once mighty Roman West collapsed not in glory, but in silence. Barbarian kings carved up its lands while former allies turned to enemies. The imperial crown was sent east, symbolizing the end without ceremony. What was Rome became memory, its ruins whispering of lost grandeur. The fall of Rome wasn't a single moment, it was a storm of decades. One of humanity's greatest powers vanished under its own weight. But in its fall, Rome scattered the seeds of modern Europe. Its legacy lives on in laws, language, and architecture. Thanks for joining Infoverse Compass on this epic journey. Subscribe, and let the ruins of history guide your next adventure.